Hey, my name is Carolyn O'Connor. I am an American exchange student studying for a year in Australia. My degree is theatre and anthropology with a concentration in sustainable and resilient community development with a focus in human rights. I've been traveling since I was about 15, and I've traveled through South America, North America, Australia, Asia, and parts of Europe. This has led me to be in constant contact with extreme poverty since I was 15 in various stages of my development as a researcher and as an academic. When I first really came into contact with extreme poverty was when I was 15. It was in Brazil, and the first thing I remember is you get off the plane and there's this amazing tropical smell, and the next thing is as you're driving away from the airport into the city of Porto Alegre, you get this smell which is very, very vivid, very hard to describe, and you look out the window and there are these people in conditions of poverty you would never imagine. They're living in cardboard boxes, they're begging, they have extreme deformities and health issues which could be easily ratified. And I really remember turning to the people I was with and saying, who's doing something about this? And the answer was, well, this is just the way it is. So I kind of accepted that viewpoint. And then, when I was 19, I went back to South America, to Bolivia, to study the sociology of education with my father. And we were living just under a place called El Alto. And El Alto is where all the indigenous peoples live. So we were constantly passing through every single day. I got very close to some of the people in it. And I remember realizing that these people, who were my friends, were living in conditions where they were barely eating, barely surviving, struggling to make any kind of difference in their life, and they were no different than myself. I feel like as Americans we can quite often get isolated in our point of view, and coming from such an affluent country, we're very used to hearing that there's very little we can do, and that becomes very much the narrative. So I think that narrative kind of continued with me even after this moment where I looked at my friends and realized that they were living in conditions that I couldn't even begin to comprehend. Until really I came to Australia, and then in Australia I got connected with a group of youth who were actively engaging with their community, and I began to study community development and realized that if I wanted change in my community and in my world, that I would have to do it myself. This has really led me to the idea of community development as a way to end extreme poverty, genocide, other human rights issues. And it's kind of the missing link in the international development of globalization. Therefore, I think for me, it's going to be my life goal in learning to bring the ideas of sustainable, resilient community development to the issues that have been before talked about as a sort of divine right, with a level of understanding about it that comes with a right and not necessarily a field of research. I'm hoping from the Global Poverty Project and my involvement with it to gain two things. First of all, I hope to be able to educate people on what it is that is extreme poverty, hopefully get them to connect a bit more with it, and to see that it's not something that's just accepted, and it's not something that you realize but can't do anything about. It is a practical and achievable goal that is the challenge of our generation to meet. We've eradicated other things that we've identified as the challenges of our generation, and I would say that this one is the next one that we should be able to meet. And I also hope that from my time as a GPP activator, I'll be able to learn myself, to learn more about how people are doing it, how people have found that these experiences have impacted their life, and hopefully gain a better understanding of how people in the world deal with this issue and think about this issue, and how to move them towards understanding in their own worlds what they can do to make that issue less of our entire reality. So thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the training day.